You guys want to know what I find extremely funny? How whenever I make these videos and I pick a team to lose, there's always like one or two people from that fan base that get extremely offended. Like, I don't mean like the whole, I pick a team to lose and they actually win and somebody hops in and says, haha, my team won, you were wrong. I mean, that's fine, it's whatever. And I mean, like, I get it. I mean, that's kind of like what you sign up for when you make videos like this. Somebody may not like you, they may not like your character, they may not like the way you sound, they may hate your team, and it's not a huge deal, but it just cracks me up. Like, you guys are really that offended? Like, my Eagles just lost to the Jets last week, and I had us winning big time, and I'm already looking forward to week 7. Like, I really don't care that much. And to top it off, I love sports betting. You think I'm picking your team to lose because I don't like them and I hate them? Like, no. I mean, like, in some cases, I might crack a joke or two, but, like, honestly, like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. Relax. But anyways, what's good, everybody, and welcome back to Cassie Bear TV, where here in a brief moment, we are going to be going over my NFL Week 7 predictions. And we are entering another week where there are a lot more significant injuries, so make sure when you're doing your picks for the week, you guys are paying attention to that because I can't cover all of them. There's a lot. Now, last week for my picks, I finished with a record of 11-4, and I'm digging that big time. Current overall record on the season is 62-31. Got to keep up the groove. And this week there are some tough matchups. I'm not gonna lie, there are a handful of games I have no idea how to call because of the injuries that I mentioned before. And on top of that, I mean, a lot of these matchups are just really funky. Like, I have just no idea which way they're going to go. But as always, I'm gonna give you guys my best outlook on every game, and hopefully I am right, so bear with me. But before we get into my predictions, this video is presented by the MMA Minute. If you are an MMA fan and you like to bet, make sure you guys hit that link in the description below. My guy over there is doing some great things, so make sure you guys head on over there and subscribe to his channel. And please, if you haven't already, like this video, give it a quick share, subscribe to my channel, and with all that being said, let's get to my Week 7 predictions.
Okay, know I gotta build a better version of myself, and that's on baby. Confident to say I'm pretty as my lady, but your shorty says she want me cause my jawline is amazing. Cheating is bad, throw out the flag, trying to chase a flag and carry me and all my people straight to Vegas. Build a crib as big as many football stadiums, and you best believe I'm repping for the city that I came from. Speaking of facts, throw out the flag.
All right, let's see who I can piss off this week. Kicking off Thursday Night Football, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the New Orleans Saints. This prediction is based solely off the status of Trevor Lawrence. He's dealing with a significant injury. They have him listed as day-to-day. Trevor himself says that he is optimistic he'll play, and that's the only good news that I've read so far. Of course, by the conclusion of this video, this could all change, but I'm going to assume that Trevor doesn't play. It's a short week. The Saints defense is pretty solid. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're very consistent. You don't know which Jags team you're going to get week in, week out, and if Trevor doesn't play, like I assume he's not going to, I don't foresee them taking this one on the road. So I'm going to go with the Saints to win this one at home, 21-16 over Jacksonville. Again, I'm assuming Trevor's not playing. Do not shoot me. All right, moving on to the first of the Sunday games. We got a very good matchup. We got the Detroit Lions taking on the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, this game's probably about as evenly matched as it can be. The Lions have a great offense and the Ravens have a very good defense. The Ravens have a solid offense and the Lions have a pretty solid defense. The Lions are on a tear right now, and the Ravens are in a very tough situation because their division is super competitive. And compared to the Lions, I mean, the Lions are obviously going to run the NFC North, and the Ravens have to battle week in, week out. I think the Lions are playing with a massive chip on their shoulder, and they should. They're playing very good right now. They haven't been good for a very long time. Their head coach is awesome. I mean, they're just trending in the right direction. Now, the thing is, last week, look at the Eagles, look at the Niners, 2 massive upsets. Does this mean that a few more 1-win teams are going to suffer the same fate that my team and the Niners did last week? Now, I'm not trying to sound like a superstitious guy, but the Lions are playing a very tough opponent on the road. They are 3-point underdogs. I mean, this is a big prove-it game for both teams. I mean, if the Lions win this game, I think we have to start to have that talk about whether or not they are legitimately the best team in the league. And the same goes for the Ravens. I feel like they're kind of floating under the radar right now. Nobody's really talking a lot about them because Lamar and the receiving corps is not having the best season so far. But again, that defense is great and they are winning games. Huge game for both teams, and I think the team that is going to win is a team that has been there and done that before in recent years, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. Going with the Ravens to win over the Lions in a close game, 21-20. All right, moving on to the next game. We got the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Chicago Bears, and just like the Jacksonville Jaguars game, I said that game depends on Trevor Lawrence's status. This game depends on Justin Fields' status. He dislocated his thumb on his throwing hand. He's most likely not going to play, and they're going to be starting a guy named Tyson Bagent, I have no idea who this guy is. I mean, I might even have the wrong guy picked. I'm pretty sure it's Tyson Bagent. Anyways, no Fields, no shot. I mean, these last few games, he has not been bad, and I think the Bears gained a little bit of confidence with them winning that game a couple weeks back. But, I mean, it's just really hard, and I think that Bears fans can actually agree with me this time. How do you win this game without Justin Fields? I don't think you do. I really don't. I just think that the Raiders offense has a little bit too much firepower for the Bears, and the Bears offense will just have no chance to keep up in this game. So going with the Raiders to win big time, 27-10 over Chicago. Chicago fans, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep it real. All right, on to the next game. We got the Cleveland Browns taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Yet another game where we have a quarterback that is day-to-day, Deshaun Watson. We're not sure if he's going to play or not. Is it a game that he needs to play? Can the Browns win with that awesome defense against a team like the Indianapolis Colts who struggle? Probably so. But here's the thing. The Colts' run defense isn't bad. The Browns run the ball pretty well. PJ Walker's in at quarterback. Amari Cooper had a good game last week. I mean, there's just so many different variables here. Gardner Minshew, he can put up 300 to 400 yards damn near a game if he wants to, but he'll also turn the ball over as well. Jonathan Taylor, is this going to be the game where he comes back? I don't know. But I know that Gardner did not have the most ideal game last week. And I mean, Gardner is just one of those quarterbacks who he can show up and he can win against a beaten up team like the Cleveland Browns. Like, he honestly could. The only way the Colts are going to win this game is if Gardner Minshew can mitigate his turnovers and get that ball out of his hands quickly, because the Cleveland Browns, they're going to be sending a lot of pressure. This game might only work for the Colts if Jonathan Taylor's heavily involved. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I don't think he sucks. I don't think he's washed. And I think that this is a perfect game to let him get out there and just go crazy. But all in all, the Browns are just too much. I mean, they just beat the 49ers. I don't care what happened in that game with injuries. They beat the 49ers. They beat arguably the best team in the NFL, and now they're playing against a very subpar Colts team. The Browns should win this one, but I think that the Colts battle. Going with the Browns to win 19-17 over the Colts. All right, moving on to the next matchup, we have the biggest trap game of the century. We got the Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots. Like I've said in previous takes before, division games are weird, and it's very hard to play at Gillette Stadium. It just is. I don't know why. The Patriots are probably the worst team in the league right now. They are just struggling. So why not this be the game where the Patriots show up and upset the Buffalo Bills for no apparent reason? And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The Bills are favored by 9 on the road, and if I'm not mistaken, teams that have been favored by 9 or more points this season, they have been pretty successful. For betting purposes only, I'm going to stay very far away from this game. I mean, I might add the Bills as like a final leg to a parlay, just because, but yeah, I'm not messing around with that spread. I'm not messing around with player props, nothing. This is probably going to be a very weird game, and I guarantee my score prediction is very wrong, but I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills to win 27-7 over the Patriots. All right, moving on to the best game of the week. We got the Washington Commanders taking on the New York Giants. Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, Commanders inconsistent. They just, for whatever reason, play to the level of their opponents. So if they're playing a bad team, they're probably going to play very bad. But if they're playing a solid team, they're going to play up to their level. Maybe I'm just saying that because of their game against the Eagles. But the Commanders are 3-3, and the Giants are just in shambles. They're injury-ridden, and I don't know. Can Tyrod Taylor win this game? It's just a weird week for picks. Like, honestly, I could pick all favors, and like, you guys couldn't call me crazy. But I have to pick an upset, and this is going to be the upset that I'm picking. Tyrod Taylor, Saquon Barkley, and company are going to handle business at home. Brian DeBall is going to call his best game. The Giants are going to look decent. It's another division game, so you know it's probably going to be close for no reason. The Giants are probably going to look decent for no apparent reason. And like I said, I have to pick an upset. I'm not going all favors. This is my first upset of the week. So going with New York to win, and I really don't care if you guys agree with me or not, because we can all agree that this game is going to suck. 16-14 over the Commanders. All right, moving on to another division game. We got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both teams coming off a loss. The Buccaneers loss a little bit more excusable than the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons lost to the Commanders last week, and the Buccaneers lost to the Detroit Lions, which I talked about earlier in my takes. This game could go either way. The Bucs have a solid run D, but I don't foresee anybody stopping Bijan Robinson if he gets enough carries, so it doesn't really matter. It all comes down to whether or not, yet again, Desmond Ridder can get his playmakers outside of Bijan Robinson the ball. Kyle Pitts has been a little bit more involved as of late. That is good. That is how you win games. Drake London, he's starting to come to life a little bit. That is good. That is how you win games. Do I think that the Atlanta Falcons are going to keep trending in that direction? And the answer is no. I just don't trust that Desmond Ridder has the skill set to get the job done, and their play calling just will yet again not make sense. Like, I don't know. That division is wide open, and despite the Buccaneers losing last week, I do not think that they are worse than the Atlanta Falcons. I really don't. So I do have this being yet again another low-scoring game. I think that as long as Baker Mayfield takes care of the ball, the Buccaneers defense will prevail because the Atlanta Falcons offense will play yet again one-dimensional. Going with the Buccaneers to win the low-scoring game, 17-14 over the Falcons. All right, moving on to the first of the afternoon games, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the LA Rams. You guys, the Rams have like no running backs. Like seriously, Kyron Williams and Ronnie Rivers are both hurt. So we have one question to answer when it comes to this game, and that is, do we believe that Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp can single-handedly win this game for the Rams? Because no, like they legit have no running backs. So the run game, gone. So there is probably only one way they can win this game, and that is through the air. I mean, we all know the Steelers' offense, they're not going to do much, but they win games without doing a lot on that offense. So does it really matter? Their defensive line, obviously with TJ Watt, they're going to be a problem. I mean, if I'm Mike Tomlin and the gang, I am just going to double Cooper Kupp, let Puka Nacua get his yards, and just keep them out of the end zone. It is that simple. I mean, because they're not going to stop Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua if they're playing straight up. It's just not going to happen. So I'm going to assume that the Steelers game plan well, and I'm going to pick the upset of the week. I know this one's going to get me in some trouble, but I mean, do something about it. Going with the Steelers to win, 16-10 over the Rams. I just honestly think with no Kyron Williams or anybody in that backfield, they're just not at an advantage to win this game. I'm sorry. All right, moving on to the next matchup. We got the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Tank. The Cardinals are tanking. We all know it. Yeah, they showed some promise in previous weeks, playing very well against really good opponents and beating a team like the Dallas Cowboys, but all in all, they lose. And it's clear as day the Seattle Seahawks are the much better team. No James Conner on that offense. Joshua Dobbs, it was fun while it lasted, but you're not a great quarterback by any means. The Seattle Seahawks should win this game big time, especially with the San Francisco 49ers losing last week. If they want to stay close within that division race, they need to win division games. So no reason for Seattle to not show up and just win this game big time. Going with the Seahawks to win, 27-10 over the Cardinals. All right, moving on to another trap game. We got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Denver Broncos. And yes, I'm calling this a trap game because the Green Bay Packers should win this game big time because Russell Wilson sucks. That is not the real Russell Wilson. I am 110% convinced he is AI. There's just no way. The guy, he has no emotions on his face. He doesn't care. I mean, like, he's had like no like significant career-altering injury. What is going on with Russell Wilson? There's no excuse. Their receivers are not that bad. Courtland Sutton is not bad. Jerry Jeudy is a first-round draft pick. They have what we all thought was a great coach. That is Sean Payton. I mean, the dude, he's a saint. He's a godly man. He'd probably give you the shirt off his back if he saw you in public, but he sucks at football. And I don't know what happened, but he sucks. Russell, you suck. And now after all that, the Broncos will probably win this game because I just went a little bit too hard on Russell Wilson. But I'm going with the Packers to win 20-17 over the Broncos. So help me God. All right, now moving on to the final afternoon game. We got the LA Chargers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, and this should be a great game for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's a division game. Number two, the Chiefs have a great offense, obviously. The Chiefs have a very solid defense this year, surprisingly. The LA Chargers have a great offense. Justin Herbert can throw on anybody in the league. We all know that. But it all comes down to this. Both of these teams are very beatable. Yes, I said it. Both teams. The Chiefs do not look indestructible at all. Actually, the last couple games take away a couple calls from the refs, and they might lose those games. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they are 5-1. But here's the thing. The LA Chargers, for some weird reason, they're just always in these nail-biter ass games. And it always comes down to, can Justin Herbert win the game? And I know I get it. Sometimes he looks like a choke artist. I mean, yeah, he has quite a few fourth quarter comebacks. Like, I'm not going to pretend like he's not capable of winning games down the stretch, but it always seems like the biggest games they need to win, he doesn't win. I don't know why. He clearly doesn't suck. They're just always in these situations, and I don't think that is his fault. Last week, they lost a nail-biter against the Cowboys, and this week, they're playing against Kansas City on the road. They do have the Chiefs being 5.5-point favorites, which I think's a little bit too high. Obviously, the Chiefs should be favored, but I don't foresee the Chiefs' defense just completely shutting down that Chargers offense. I mean, with Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler, they're just too electrifying. Eckler coming off a very subpar week last week, I understand that, but that's not all telling. I would probably look at that game from more of a perspective of a get-right game and not so much that is Austin Eckler. We know Austin Eckler is going to bounce back and be just fine. The Chiefs should win this game, and they're probably going to win this game, and I'm just going to pick the Chargers to win this game just because I have a feeling. That's all. So don't listen to me when it comes to this pick. This is just a gut feeling. That's all. There's no logic behind it. There's not. It's just a gut feeling. That's all. So like I've mentioned in previous takes, don't shoot me. I don't hate the Chiefs. I don't love the Chargers. I'm just saying. I have a gut feeling the Chargers are going to win. So going with them to win on the road, 24-21 over Kansas City. All right, moving on to Sunday Night Football. We have the game we have all been waiting for. Well, at least I have. We got the Miami Dolphins taking on my Philadelphia Eagles. First things first, the Eagles need Jalen Carter and Darius Slay back if they want a chance to win this game. Like, I'm sorry, it starts right there. It just does. Last week, Lane Johnson did suffer an ankle injury. It just sounds like a grade 1 sprain. He should be ready to go when it's all said and done. I don't necessarily fear the Miami Dolphins defense. I think if our play calling's on point, we'll be just fine, per usual. I mean, it just seems like every week that we play bad on offense, it's not really the players, it's the play calling. And it's been that way for the last 3-4 years. I mean, I don't know. I really can't really put a finger on it, but there's just times where if you watch Eagles football, it's like, why? You got DeAndre Swift. Why not use him? Why is he getting 10 carries in a game? That just makes no sense. Why is there a design run for Jalen Hurts on 3rd and 9? I mean, I just don't get it. The Eagles do have a great roster, and we get by because of how talented our skill players are, but that's not ideal, especially playing against a team like the Miami Dolphins. And you know what's surprising to me, but not at the same time, because I wasn't fooled by the fact that we lost to the Jets and that was a fluke, but we're still favored by 2 points. Now, if the Eagles were that bad, and we were so fraudulent like the rest of the world's trying to say right now because we lost to the Jets, why are we favored against the Miami Dolphins at home who look damn near unstoppable? I mean, I can't name a single defense in the league that is going to just completely shut down that offense. I don't know, man. I just feel like this is a huge bounce back game for the Eagles, and honestly, this game is going to determine the future of this team. If the Eagles lose against the Miami Dolphins, that is a 2-game losing streak, and we have a hellacious stretch of difficult games moving forward after this one. So it's a must win. It is an absolute must win for Philadelphia. They know it. They're at home. You have to get the job done. And yes, I'm being 100% a homer. I'm going to predict this stat line real quick. DeAndre Swift gets over 15 touches this game. DeAndre Swift finds the end zone. Our defensive front is going to put more pressure on Tua than he's had in the last entire year. We will force Tua to throw interceptions. We will hold Tyreek Hill to under 105 yards. Jalen Waddle will have a game. And the Eagles are still going to win 27-20 over the Dolphins. Go Birds. All right, and on to Monday Night Football. We got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. No Justin Jefferson, no shot. I mean, that's going to be the theme until he comes back for the Minnesota Vikings. I'm sorry. And the San Francisco 49ers, just like the Eagles, coming off a loss last week against a team that they should have beat. Do you guys honestly think that the Niners are going to lose 2 straight to 2 teams that they are significantly better than? That answer is hell no. Vikings fans, I'm sorry. This is probably a game that you're not going to want to watch. Going with the Niners to win for very obvious reasons. 27-10 over the Vikings. And there you have it. My Week 7 predictions are officially in. And per usual, I want to give you guys my 3-leg lock, which is a 3-leg parlay that I feel will be a for sure hit by the conclusion of this week's games. I'm taking a Chris Olave anytime touchdown, the Las Vegas Raiders to cover a -3-point spread, and the San Francisco 49ers money line. Get that bet locked in, and hopefully you and I can make some money by the end of this week's games. And as always, if you guys want to check out my favorite and best bets, make sure you guys check out my betting guide. The link is in the description below. And that's where I do a little bit more research when it comes to my picks. I'm talking parlays, money line, point spread, player props, you name it, it's in there. So make sure you check that out. But yeah, that's all I got for you. And I understand that this week's picks are very, very questionable. If you think you can do better, please, in the comments section below, let me know what you think of my picks. Like this video, give it a quick share, subscribe to the channel. And as always, until the next video, go Birds.